In this video, I'll explore some of the paths towards independence. Now, you may be interested in reading my book, 101 Choices on My Path to Well-Being, and the thoughts that made them possible. Since the age of 14, I've been directing my own self-designed education program, starting my first company at the age of 17 when I left home, and mastering the art of achieving thousands of goals, working for myself, and creating greater and greater freedom. Now, emotional independence and freedom comes from trauma literacy, trauma healing, trauma repair, books like The Body Keeps the Score. Intellectual or mental freedom comes from a combination of writing down your own thoughts over a period of time, also exposing yourself to different world views from the great thinkers over time through biographies. I really enjoyed in my teenage years reading the biographies of some of the most influential people over the last few hundred years, and how they thought, and assessing the benefits of that way of thinking and the costs of that way of thinking as expressed and experienced in people's lives. When you can understand why you think the way that you think, and evaluate how well your thoughts are serving you in being the person you want to be, in creating the life that you want to live, right? And you can understand different ways of thinking, but you are happy with your chosen way of thinking. You have independent thought, independent thinking talent, right? And freedom in income, right? In a capitalist culture, in a capitalist framework, so many of the freedoms, medically, globally, if you are a millionaire, for example, in terms of US dollars, you can live anywhere in the world, right? Because countries all around the world want to invite wealthy people to live with them, right? And so you have freedom of movement, you have freedom to take care of your health. You have freedom to spend time with the people you want to spend time with. You have freedom to do the things that you want to do, right? To learn the things that you want to learn. Now, in terms of, mental, emotional freedom, one of the tools that I have found useful is Audible, as well as paper books. Audible is an app by Amazon that allows you to buy books for $10 and listen while walking, while cooking, while taking a bath, while sitting on the beach. It allows me to engage with life and learn at the same time. I can go walk my dog and learn and grow at the same time. So I usually listen to books on, in audio format, at least an hour a day. And the roughly 700 books that I have in my library, which cost $7,000 to purchase, have made me at least $300,000 in profit by taking certain things I've learned out of the book, applying them in my business, right? So to turn $7,000 into $300,000, which is, let's see, we've got roughly 7, 10, we're looking at roughly 40 times return on investment. So good education, when you learn something really useful, it will cost you a certain amount of money, a certain amount of time. But if you can, first of all, enjoy learning, and second of all, take it and turn it into 30 or 40 times more than the money that you would have made otherwise, then it's not only fun to learn, it's profitable to learn, right? So I give close friends of mine access to my Audible library so that they can learn and grow as I have. Now, some of the other paths of independent income. It's first important to understand, to be truly independent, it's important to understand sales. Now, sales just means the art of communicating how you can help someone incredibly valuably, right? If you can show someone in words and in actions how you can be incredibly valuable to their life, that is successful selling. If you could be very valuable to someone, but you cannot show them that you have value, that is unsuccessful selling, meaning you have something of value to offer, but you are a terrible communicator. Nobody can see what it is that is valuable about you, and so they do not hire you or give you opportunities to express your value. The art of selling, right, is the art of successfully communicating how you can contribute value to other people's lives. It's an incredible part of being independent. And I learned first about selling when I started my business at age 17 by listening to Brian Tracy. He's available on YouTube now, but at the time it was cassettes in the library. And he had The Psychology of Selling, advanced selling strategies and other things. And I listened to that, and I listened to it, and I'd go on walks, and I'd listen in my teenage years. And I understood the philosophy of contributing value to other people. And I understood that the more value I could give other people, the more income, the more money I could make, and the more freedom I would have, right? So how can you bring maximal value to the people that you want to serve, that you want to help in the world, right? And then how can you communicate that value in a way that they want to give you that opportunity, right? So this is the art of selling, and it's a big part of freedom. I would not be able to own or run my own business for more than 30 years without the art of continually increasing the value that I can communicate, that I can show, that I can give to my clients. Now, in some of the areas that we can give enormous value that tie directly into well-being, right? We have the art of cooking. Everyone in the world eats 3 meals a day. And so if you can make that eating experience healthy rather than unhealthy, right? That's one check in the art of cooking. If you can make that cooking experience and the dining experience good for the ecology, good for the environment, as well as healthy for the body, so that our earth becomes cleaner and healthier over time, that's another element in the art of cooking, right? If you can make the food absolutely delicious, right, that's obviously another mark. But also if you can do something new, the brain gets used to familiar foods and eventually tunes it out. So if you can do something different that nobody else is doing, something unique, right, it becomes a memorable experience. If you can cook in a way that is also beautiful to watch, right, and beautiful to see, right? It's beautiful to watch you cooking. It's beautiful to see the dish, right? You have another, point in that area, right? So the art of doing that, and of course, if you can grow the food, make it even more local, more sustainable, etc., that becomes even more, more interesting. So there's the art of cooking. There's also the art of massage, right? This is therapeutic touch for meditation and healing, right? So you have, can you release physical muscle sores, right? Can you listen and speak in a way that is healing to someone while you touch them? Can you do water massage as well as land massage, the technology of Watsu, where you are in a warm pool that is the same temperature of the body, right? So it takes someone to a very young and regressed state where they can work with early childhood trauma, as well as, what's going on in their life, and drift off into a timeless space. Can you touch someone so slowly, right, so carefully, that they forget that you're there and totally enter a transcendent state, right? Can you ensure a sense of trust and caring in that touch, right? And can you respond so that if one person wants this and another person wants this, that you're able to do that? Can you set boundaries, right? So that you can take care of yourself and what you want, as well as what your customer wants. Can you communicate in a way that your customer wants this, but you have a boundary? You have a preference of your own. Are you able to communicate and hold a boundary in a way that both people win and their boundaries are not crossed, right? So this is another field of value that's very direct. Can you create art, right? Painting, sculpture, metalwork, ideas, graphic work, videography, photography. Can you bring these together at a high level of competence, right? Can you bring them together in a way that creates fusion, something that's never quite existed before? Can you feel joy and excitement as you create your art? Can you give that feeling to other people, right? Can you work with others when the opportunity presents and is compatible? Can you also work alone? Do you have the discipline to set aside time to practice your art, right? Rather than just watch TV or play with your phone all the time, right? So these are part of the talent of art, right? There's also the talent of architecture, right? Can you create something beautiful, right? Can you reduce unnecessary sound, right? Can you create beautiful smells in the building or coming through the windows from plants, right? And minimize smells like diesel generators and parking cars next to the building, right? Can you reduce costs, right? Can you create something that's waterproof? Can you create something that is fireproof, right? Can you create something that will not blow away in a hurricane or high winds and rain, right? Can you build on solid ground that it doesn't fall down a hillside with a landslide, appropriate engineering, right? Can you create organization, right? Can you create a space that somebody wants to be within? Can you construct something on time? Right? So these are skills within the domain of architecture, right? And again, buildings are being built all the time. Everyone needs a space to call home. Everyone needs 3 meals a day. Everyone benefits from healing touch, right? And there's gardening, right? The architecture of the garden, right? Again, you've got budgeting, you've got aesthetics, you've got smell, you've got managing animals so that the dogs don't lay on the plants and the deer and other animals don't eat the plants and the monkeys don't steal the fruit and the birds don't. So you've got animal management, right? You've got sustainability. You've got the discipline, right, of watering things. You don't just start and then they die from lack of water. You've got irrigation. You've got beauty, right? Can you plant something that's delicious but also beautiful? Doing beds in interesting spirals and designs. Right? Can you amend soil such that plants want to grow? Can you protect the soil from erosion and runoff with mulch, right? Wood chips and the like? Right? Can you do these things? Right? Can you grow food that makes interesting and delicious dishes, perhaps heirloom vegetables, right? Can you source organic fertilizer, right, from healthy cows and chickens, right, as well as bird droppings, etc., so that you make a rich fertilizer for your plants, right? Can you make interesting seating areas and lighting so that you can enjoy your garden at night? Can you create privacy at certain times, right? And meandering trails by lining up screens and hedges, etc., in certain areas, right? So you have the art of gardening, the art of landscaping, right? Of organizing things. Where do the cars go? Where is the tool shed so that it's not too far to go to get tools? How do you manage security so people do not steal the tools, right? So you have all of these different layers of skills, right, in these different areas. Then there's hospitality. You have the art of selling, right? Why should somebody stay with you, right? There's Airbnb, which is air, bed, and breakfast, and other microsites where you can create a unique experience for your guests and communicate the value of that experience to the guests so that they want to go to you more than they want to go anywhere else, and that they want to have your experience more than they want to have other experiences, and so that they write reviews about you, about how wonderful the experience was, and more people want to come so that you can charge more money and have happier guests, right? And create more freedom. So there's the art of selling, which begins with the art of design, right? Designing an experience in food, an experience in touch, an experience in architecture, an experience in gardening, that other people want to have that experience, and an experience talking with you, which includes, right, the art of, in most cases, speaking English, right? The more languages you can speak with or without a translator, but, ideally, the more at home people feel coming and spending time visiting you in your place. There's the art of flexibility, right? Having different things ready so that someone can be tired and have a restful experience, someone can be bored and have exciting things to do, right? There's the art of social engagement, right? There's the art of timing, keeping a schedule. If someone says they want to have their breakfast served at this time, that not only is it an artistic breakfast, but it's served at that time. There's the art of coordination and group leadership, because someone cooking the food, someone managing the app, someone doing the photographs, someone doing the house cleaning, someone doing the maintenance, all of that has to come together for a guest to have an amazing experience. right? And so these are things that come together. Now, there's also the art of living, right? The art of not just being a slave to one's company, but enjoying one's work. There's the art of making enough money so that you can live your life. But there's also the art of living your life enough that you're motivated to make the money, right? There's the art of learning to live and live in that balance. There's the art of cash flow management, to calculate my expenses are this amount every month. There will be emergencies, and so I have to have this amount set aside for emergencies. Right? Debt is very expensive, so I want to pay down my debt quickly and not have debt. And then I want to make investments for the future. So there's investing as well as cash flow management. This amount of my day, I want to do enjoyable things that nourish me, that give me a good night's sleep, that help my body feel healthy. And then these other times, I want to focus on investing in the future and managing my responsibilities in the present. There's also the art of teaching, right? You have to teach other people to delegate and teach other people so that the quality of your life and of your work expands, but it's not burdening you, right? That you can rely on other people in these areas. So these are some of the paths that I'm involved with that relates to my experience and expertise. There's also the path of being a virtual or literal assistant. Now, this path, we'll do it over here, right? You have English, you have communicating, you have good internet connection, you have a good laptop, you have the ability to search and research, you have the ability to ask questions and clarify what the person you're working for, what exactly they want and why do they want it, right? Because sometimes you need to show them that there's a better way to get what they want than they know of. So you need to know why they want that, as well as what it is that they think they want. And you need to be able to manage your time, right? You need to be able to be courteous. You need to be able to take notes, right, so that you don't forget things. You need to be able to check your notes with your client and say, this is what, just to summarize, I'm going to do this, 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 and this. Is that correct? And if they say yes, then you go off and do that. Then you need to be able to get feedback, right, and say, how was this? And then you've got to listen and learn from them what it was like to work with you, and then to keep growing, keep building your skills. Right. You also need an internet backup, right? You need a backup source of power, et cetera, in the event of storms and things like that, so that you can be a reliable person, even as weather and certain situations change. And you need to be able to do more than you say you will, rather than less than you say you will. Right? So this is the path of virtual assistants. Now, the wonderful thing, with this, and there's also a specialty, like there are niche experiences that you can create for people around trauma healing, right? So that would be one specialty, trauma healing. Sensory delight, right? To delight in our senses, right? There's an artistic creativity experience that people can have, right? And there's also a detox, relax, and silence, and stop the overwhelm of modern life and step back experience that people can have, right? So these are the things that I'm focused on, that I'm interested on, that I have a high competency or skill level in these areas. And it's something that if you are intelligent and dedicated, meaning you dedicate your number one priority to these paths, and you are intelligent enough to understand what I'm saying and to continually learn, right? These are paths that allow one to move independently towards anywhere from $400 to $1,100 a month while working in the Philippines, right? So that's well above like a teacher's salary or something like that. And you can do so without college. You can do it. There is an education. It will take 1 to 3 years for people to go through this protocol systematically. But if you have the dedication and you have the intelligence to iterate and understand, if you can understand this video well and prioritize and have the discipline to show up, this is a very reliable path to becoming someone who's incredibly useful in the world, to becoming someone who is needed, right? People need healing. They need to detox. They need to be inspired to live. Another, great theme or umbrella around, curate these skills around is to help someone who is feeling lonely and suicidal. They often go hand in hand. Someone who's considering suicide because their life is so lonely and miserable, right? To have another perspective, to, in a couple of week period, have so many amazing experiences that they can see a way forward in their life, a life worth living. And in that way, grant them the experience and a path to take their life forward, right? So this is an umbrella of knowledge. It's ideal to master some skill in all of these areas. But you can also pick one area to specialize in and become excellent in while learning a little bit of the others enough to function. And the goal at the end of this is that you can walk away from me, from any group that we're working within, that you can walk away and take your skills with you and create your own lifestyle, live where you want to live the ways that you want to live, and depend on yourself for your income rather than needing to get a job from somebody else. I've never worked for anyone in my life, right? I've never needed to, because once I learned the art of selling and the art of creating beautiful landscapes and homes, right? Once I learned that art with the help of mentors and teachers, everyone wants a beautiful home. Everyone wants a beautiful landscape. And they want it from someone who's honest, who's kind, who's hardworking, and who knows what they're doing. Everyone wants that. And so by being kind, being hardworking, by continually learning and knowing what I'm doing, right? There's the whole world wants to hire me in some way or other, right? To create more of what they desire. So this is a little bit of an introduction, and it's an important part of the artist's way, because the world, generally speaking, does not pay artists very well. And so to be an artist, to be a creator, to serve something bigger than ourselves, it involves step one being financially independent, which means learning our own skills. And then secondly, allowing us to move into the life that we want to live, that we can fund for ourselves. The ideal job is working 4 hours a day, for money, so that we can do the things that we really want to do the rest of the time. I work 1, 2, 3 hours a day for money, and I can take the profits of that income and donate that to my NGO or nonprofit. And the rest of the time I can do things that are exciting, that are meaningful. Right? I can explore my art. And that's a possibility that is available for you as well.